Chapter 4, Change. Rua Rua, let's have breakfast. The aunt, now called Aunt Lu, stood in front of the window, looking at Du Rua in the garden, not knowing what she was doing. Auntie has been working at Du Rua's house for nearly 2 months. At first, she was a bit reserved, but later on, she completely treated her like her own daughter and loved her. That child is really pitiful. At such a young age, mother is gone, as for father, having it is worse than not having it. Rich people have so many troubles. Not as good as a happy commoner like her. Now she is pregnant, but the father of that child is still nowhere to be seen. TSK. Alright, I should love Du Rua more. Aunt Lu estimated, no, tonight she still had to go over to her son's place, had to teach them a lesson. Don't think that just because you have money and a future, you can do some meaningless nonsense, that you can have an affair, that you can do things without taking responsibility. If her son turns out like this, let's see how she will deal with that stinking brat. Sitting in the office, Lu Tianming couldn't help but shiver. Du Rua stood in front of the porch, looking at Aunt Lu, not knowing what she was thinking, looking helpless. In the past 2 months, she had seen this person's ability to daydream and associate, so she chose not to ask. Aunt Lu, the young girl's voice was fresh and pleasant to hear. Du Rua, quickly go change your clothes, be careful not to catch a cold. I say, why are you up so early? You're pregnant, sleeping more is a good thing. Aunt Lu saw Du Rua return home and immediately started preparing breakfast, afraid that if she was a little late, Du Rua would be hungry. After changing clothes, Du Rua went downstairs and saw Aunt Lu still muttering about her morning exercise. She smiled and said, the plan for the day is to go outside in the garden early in the morning and exercise a bit. Isn't that great? Also, with Auntie taking care of me, am I still not healthy? Look at me now, I've gained quite a bit of weight. In fact, she didn't gain much weight, but her complexion was much better. If people who had known her for a long time and hadn't seen her for a long time, they would be afraid that she was due to taking beauty pills. Her whole body had gained quite a bit of weight. She was beautiful before, very sharp, but after being in contact with her for a long time, it was easy to make people feel unfavorable, but now, at a glance, her features were still beautiful, but if you looked closely, it was no longer the beautiful, dazzling, and overwhelming, but revealed a kind of calm, indifferent beauty, at first glance, giving off a feeling of comfort and intimacy. Right now, Aunt Lu says all day long that she now has a motherly aura all over her body, and is so beautiful now. It's true that the baby will definitely not be inferior to the mother in the future. She always smiles. She also couldn't tell Aunt Lu, because she now had medical skills and a space with all kinds of precious medicinal herbs to nourish her body. Although the spiritual energy of the space didn't have the effect of cleansing the marrow and strengthening the tendons, it was still beneficial to the body over time. In addition, although she couldn't practice internal energy, but because her body was very good, and her baby was very healthy, she basically practiced the external martial arts she had learned before, point by point, again. Her entire body seemed to be more plump and well-proportioned. Moreover, after 10 lifetimes of settling down, she became steady and gentle, which made others feel more beautiful. Now, she has recovered very well in all aspects, especially her mental strength has increased. Thanks to the blessing of being reborn several times, she has mental strength again. But to her, this is more like a therapeutic tool, like acupuncture using needles. She is very much looking forward to the application of Western medicine on the operating table in the future. Aunt Lu reluctantly accepted her compliment, quickly served a rich breakfast, and supervised Du Rua to finish eating. Du Rua smiled. If one were to say, from the very beginning, she had taken Aunt Lu as her housekeeper and lived together with her every day. She had truly regarded her as a relative. This person had truly treated her like a daughter and loved her. During these 2 months, Qiao Ligua even brought Yi Jingya and her 2 children to Du Rua's house. The first time was when Du Rua asked for a leave of absence from school. Du Rua had already prepared to go abroad to study medicine and would not return to school. Therefore, at the beginning of the semester, she had completed the procedures to reserve her studies and take a leave of absence. However, she had quickly forgotten that Qiao Xian was her older sister, so Qiao Ligua quickly ran over to question her. Qiao Rua, do you want to make it difficult for your sister at school? As soon as Qiao Ligua entered her house, he immediately criticized her. I don't remember what kind of commotion I caused. She really didn't understand how Qiao Ligua could come to her house so early in the morning, far away in the south of the city. Could it be that the work of the city party secretary was so free at the beginning of the year? Rua, whether you admit it or not, Xian is your older sister. If you suddenly take a break from school like this, everyone will feel that you two are not getting along well. Yi Jingya saw her innocent expression and had no choice but to explain the reason. She was surprised, just because of this? We went to the same school? I really don't remember. It's been so long. You? Although Qiao Xian was able to maintain it, her face turned red and white. Qiao Rua, is this how your mother taught you? She is your older sister. Qiao Ligua saw Qiao Xin and her eyes were red. Du Rua's face was cold. I only know, my mother taught me, don't randomly identify relatives. That was true in her previous life. No matter what she did, her father always said that she was arrogant and stubborn, that she opposed Yi Jingya, that she did not respect her elders, that she was not gentle and kind, but gentle and kind people indirectly caused her mother to die early, opposing Qiao Xin, saying that she was jealous, always bullying her innocent and kind older sister, but it was that innocent and kind older sister that made everyone think she was arrogant and stubborn. Has anyone ever seen someone who was bullied live a good life, while the one who bullied others lived a miserable life? Qiao Ligua was so angry that his face turned red. How could I have this kind of daughter? Aunt Lu came back from buying food and saw Qiao Ligua glaring at Du Rua and talking loudly. She immediately cursed at the three of them and chased them out. The second time, it was the day before yesterday. Yi Jingye came to deliver the wedding invitation again, sweetly saying to Du Rua that she and Qiao Ligua would get married. However, the two of them were not planning to do anything big. They were just doing it at home, having a meal with the family, that was fine. So she had to come back for a visit. Aunt Lu looked at her with displeasure. When Yi Jingya dropped the invitation, she immediately chased her out of the house, not caring whether Yi Jingya had finished speaking or not. Thinking of this, Du Rua couldn't help but laugh. Rua, are you going out tonight? Aunt Lu tried to ask. No. Du Rua ate a piece of dumpling and answered without thinking. Don't think she doesn't know. What are they planning? Not having a big party, just because her mother passed away 3 months ago, getting married so quickly, afraid of not being good for Qiao Ligua's reputation, and then affecting his career. Inviting her, just to let others see, the ex-wife's daughter also agreed. Conveniently easing the relationship, see if they can meet that idiot Qiao Rua like in her previous life, because of a small matter, was provoked to give her mother's property to someone else. It seems that in this life, Yi Jingya is still the female master of the Qiao family. Who knows, in this life, without her, whether she can still sit firmly in this position. In the previous life, because of her own arrogance, Qiao Ligua pitted Yi Jingya even more. In this life, she herself made up her mind not to interfere, to see whether Qiao Ligua can still be so wholehearted towards Yi Jingya. Of course. Du Rua is not Qiao Rua, of course she wouldn't do this kind of stupid thing, to attend this event. Aunt Lu heard that she wasn't going, and immediately breathed a sigh of relief. It was good that she wasn't going, so she wouldn't have to suffer the suffocation. These past few days, Aunt Lu had understood that Du Rua had the ability to support herself, and since that was the case, she didn't need to see that family again. Immediately changed the subject. Today, do you still want to go to English school to go to America? After finishing breakfast, Aunt Lu tidied up while asking about Du Rua's itinerary. She really didn't understand what this child was thinking. Why would she go to America like everyone else when she was living a good life? However, Aunt Lu was unwilling to admit it, that Qiao family person, sigh, it's better to avoid them. No need. I don't need to go in the future. Du Rua sat on the sofa to digest her food. The English she had learned before, she had just forgotten it. As long as she practiced diligently, she would quickly be able to grasp the knowledge fluently. Once the procedures and certificates were all complete, she could go. So when are you leaving? Aunt Lu asked kindly. She touched her nose, probably around this time. Seeing Aunt Lu groan and work, she quickly said, I will come back. I'm just going to study abroad. Moreover, when I come back as a doctor, won't you be happy? There's no need to go, my daughter is also a doctor. Ever since she gave her the prescription, Aunt Lu's rheumatism had improved a lot. Aunt Lu still firmly believed that she was a doctor. Haha, she wisely keeps silent. Alright, I won't say any more. Your big brother Lu often tells me that Chinese medicine has its advantages, and Western surgery is also worth learning. You go abroad, but you must take good care of yourself and the baby. If that doesn't work, you should call back, I will also come over to take care of you guys. Okay, she replied with a smile. How could that be? Auntie is taking good care of her now. If she take her to America with her, Lu's family will resent her to death. Just then, the phone rang. Hello. She took the phone from Aunt Lu's hand.